Hi, I'm Margie, and these are chocolate marshmallows. Easter's right around the corner, and I thought I would add a chocolate marshmallow recipe to the channel. I have a recipe for regular marshmallows, and so these are not really very difficult to make. So I'm going to get started right away and show you what to do. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the syrup. That's that's 1 cup of sugar, a half a cup of sugar, a half a cup of water, and 1 cup of corn syrup. Now I'm going to carefully stir this so I don't get sugar on the side of the pot. I don't want this to come to a boil until all the sugar is dissolved. Here I have an 8x8 pan, and I've lined it with some parchment paper, and I've sprayed it with a little bit of a no-stick cooking spray, just a little bit in the corners. Okay, I had already sprayed it, so it's pretty well sprayed there. I can tell that this sugar is dissolved. It will become clear, but I can tell the sugar is dissolved. I don't feel any, I don't see any on my spoon. So I'm going to let this come to a boil. It's going to foam up, and then it's going to become clear looking. See, it's becoming clear. Now I'm just going to let this cook. I'm going to add my candy thermometer. I'm going to cook it up to 250. Then I'm going to take it off the stove, and I'm going to let it cool down to 220. This is cocoa and powdered sugar. It's equal amounts of cocoa and powdered sugar. Because all this is going to be used for is to dust the top of the marshmallows after I put them into the pan. And later when I cut them, I can also use a sifter or a strainer and just strain some over there so they don't, over the marshmallows so they don't stick together. This has just reached 250. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to leave the thermometer in and let it cool down to 220. This is gelatin. I'm going to take 3 tablespoons and put it in a little bowl. I'm going to add, this is a half a cup of water. Give it a stir. Here I have boiling, this is a half a cup of boiling water. And I'm going to put the gelatin in here, and I'm going to stir it until it dissolves. So now I have, this is my KitchenAid stand-up mixer with a whisk in it. And I'm going to, this is a half a cup of unsweetened cocoa. And this is, I'm just going to put it into the bowl. And then I'm going to add my dissolved gelatin. And then my sugar has reached its temperature. So I'm going to just start it. You want to start this really slow. And add your sugar slowly. Now this is going to take about anywhere from, it usually takes about 10 minutes, but it might not take quite that long. You want to first do it slowly so it doesn't splatter on you. That's still pretty hot. about a minute to get it up to speed, and you want it to be on the highest one. Then you want to put your timer on like 8, and we'll see if they'll be ready. You can always add more time, but it's hard to, if you overbeat it, then you have a problem. About 9 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and take it out. I'm going to put it in the pan. That's going to be fine. So this is all done. And I'm just going to pour it into the pan. I'm using this spatula here because it'll bend. If you have something like that, it works really nicely. You can just scoop it right out, put it right into your pan. Then we'll spread it around. Sprinkle a little bit on. That's the cocoa and the powdered sugar, and just spread it. Now it's not sticky at all. Now the marshmallows are all ready to take out of their container. So because there's cocoa on here and it's fairly dry, I can just flip this out and take off the parchment paper. Now I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of this cocoa and powdered sugar that I have here. It says equal parts of each. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on. Whoop. And you can just rub it on. Okay, now I have a knife, a big Frenching knife here. And I'm just going to I'm just going to cut them. However, whatever size you want. Actually, this doesn't really matter. I'm going to try to cut them in the size of a marshmallow. If you want, you can cut the edge off. You can cut that edge off. Okay, and you can save that to nibble on later. Now, an easy way to cut the marshmallows, so you don't cut each one with the knife and it's sticky, it's cutting the end off. Okay, now if you want, you can put a little bit of cocoa on this. Just helps to keep it from being so sticky. And then just go ahead and cut the size that you want. And I'm putting them into a strainer, and I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle some on there, and you can roll them around. Okay, and that is basically what you do. Now, when you're done, you can also put them back into the strainer, bounce them around. Okay, and you have little marshmallows. You do that again.